So welcome, my friends, and welcome to this restorative practice. Time for you to just, rest in your stillness and feel what's happening, what it is you're assimilating, what's moving through you. There's so many ways to be in restorative practice, and sometimes it can be the physical, where you drop in and you realize, oh, wow, I have so much tension in my shoulders or back of my neck, my breath, and we can even notice the breath. Maybe we're holding, we weren't really aware of it, or starting to breathe a little bit more deeply, and we can also take the time in restorative to notice the thoughts that are coming. There's so many different pathways, but the essence of it is that the poses hopefully bring you more deeply into all that you are. Okay, so for today's practice, I have 2 blocks, a bolster, and a couple of blankets. And I do have my heating pad. It's not something I ever practiced with at studio or at home, but in the last little bit, I've been throwing it in and really digging that vibe. So I just thought I'd share that. I also have a pair of socks and some massage oil. All right. So if you've been sitting for a while, feel free to stretch your legs, move your toes, your fingers. Good. And then just coming into your sit, lengthen yourself tall, bow your chin, release your breath. And with your eyes closed, I'm just taking a few breaths here in your seated posture. Softening anything that's available to you, and even lengthening that which you feel can be lifted. Staying in your sit with your eyes closed, take your hands, rest them on the floor. And as you inhale, now open your arms out to the side like your little wings, stretch them all the way up. And as you exhale, we'll just open the arms back out, turn the palms down, bow the chin, touch the earth. Eyes can stay closed. Let's do that just 2 more times. Just inhaling and reaching and exhaling and releasing. Going at your own pace is lovely. And as you finish the 3rd one, we'll just start a 4th. You'll just reach up as you inhale. Bring the palms together, and as you exhale, hands come down to rest in front of the heart. Just feeling your presence, yourself on your mat. And we'll open this practice with 1 Om. Inhale. Bow your chin. Release your hands. Lift your chin and open your eyes. Okay, we're going to start on your backs. If you want to take a downward facing dog because you just need to stretch yourself a little bit, then go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to, we're going to massage our feet first. But take your downward dog, that's fine. Okay, let's do this. Take your downward facing dog if you like. Then come back and sit, and we'll just start to massage our feet. So take your time, gather your stuff. And I did say in my email, if you have an essential oil that you like, if you happen to have one that you like, then, you can always sometimes I just put a few drops on the bolster on my eye pillow, and that can be nice as long as it's not too irritating. So, you wouldn't want to put peppermint on your eye pillow, but lavender can be very nice. And that's what I have here. And so you're welcome to do that. But the other thing you could do is put a few drops into your cream, or whatever you're using. And then we'll have that scent on our hands and on our feet as well, even though you won't know it. But the feet take a lot of, they can really absorb the essential oils quite nicely. So we'll add, this is almost empty. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a few drops of this in there. Okay.
Already started.
Good. And then just really love your foot up. And we've all been doing this together for a little bit, but just to love your toes, the spaces between your toes, pads of the toes, and even like cuticles, the nails, and the balls of the feet, just below where toes become foot. And then loving the arch of your foot, the soft underbelly of your foot, and the arch of the foot. And noticing, anything you feel, little knots or just happen. So might take the time to kind of press in and circulate around wherever you feel that tightness. And working the outer edge of the foot where the bones are meant to bear weight, and the heel of the foot, the thick skin of the heel, the strength of the heel. And at the top of the foot, bottom of the foot, feel free to do the ankles a little bit, even roll your ankles a little bit. Twist your foot, twist your toes. Get all nice and pink. And then you might, observe both feet before you switch, or even put the sock on and then take a moment to observe. If it's not too dark in your place, you might notice a difference in the color of your 2 feet, and definitely in the feeling. Yes, I love that. And then as you're ready, when we switch, do the other foot. And then just offering that same loving attention, even coordinating the softness of your breath as you pay attention to your foot. If you have a very good imagination, you could even imagine that you're breathing in and out from the sole of your foot. And the body is all nicely circulating and pink, and everything is like a newborn babe. Everything is nicely connected, and you literally are breathing out of all of those parts that are alive, that are receiving, fresh blood, fresh oxygen. And so noticing the arch of the foot, if there's anything there. And okay, I'm just going to end with some twisting of the toes, of the whole foot. Just mush it up. Good. Okay. And we'll sock up this one when you're ready. Okay. And then we'll set up for our first pose. So if you put your essential oils in, you can even you create like a little diffuser in your hands. You just cup them and make a nice big snap. All right. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is take a blanket for my head. And this could be, you're going to use 2 blocks for your bolsters. So you could either use a 3rd block for your head. I definitely have the 3rd block, but I'm going to use a blanket. So I'm going to make this blanket into this little tiny square. And then I'm going to roll it up into a nice little roll. And I'll use this for behind my head, or a block. And the block would be on the lowest height. Okay, then we'll take the bolsters. So I have a bolster, 2 blocks, and another blanket. I'm going to take the bolster. Actually, I'll do this facing you. I'll put down the 2 blocks and the bolster on top like this. And then we're going to lie down so that our calves are resting on the bolster. So you can always make the blocks higher. The only thing with making the blocks higher is that it's possible the bolster can fall. which sometimes it falls really nice. So whatever you like, it's just a release for your back. Okay, so I'm just going to move them in so it's not too close to the wall. And then you'll take, okay, so the next blanket you have, and you might want to put a blanket down, like where I said I have my heating pad, you might want to put a blanket down for your torso as well to rest. So you could do that. Okay, then what I'm going to do with this other blanket is I just want to support the legs and kind of hold them. So I'll take this blanket, I'm going to open it up so it's like it's halfway. I'm just going to lay it over the bolster here, and you can just watch. So I'll come in, toss my legs over here, and then I'm just going to wrap them up. And actually, maybe I'll do the other side first. So I'll take it over, and then, I can also just tuck it underneath that leg, and then I'll put it over top so that the legs, and then I'll tuck it under on the other side. So my legs are just kind of wrapped in a little cocoon. So let's see. So they look like this. And then they're going to kind of stay in position. Okay, and then I'll scooch myself forward and come down and put the other, well, you might want your eye pillow if you have one. You don't need it, but that's nice. And then I'm just going to take this blanket roll and find a nice support for my head. Hopefully it's going to feel okay and even. I'm really supporting more the neck, though, than the head. But, you figure out what's nice and comfortable for you. So I feel the end of the blanket at the tops of the shoulders, which are on the floor. And then my cervical spine, the neck, is on the blanket roll. So the back of my head is just kind of hanging loose, which maybe you can't see, but okay. So hopefully that feels very nice. And as you come in, the arms are going to go maybe out to the side, or maybe you'll fold them, rest them on your tummy. But if you need to put other blankets underneath your arms, then unwrap your legs and get up and just get what you need. Okay, so take a few moments here with the legs elevated. You might feel like your back feels a little tight, if you've been sitting a lot today. And so what you can do is even just, flex your feet, anchor the calves into the bolster so the tail lifts, so your tush lifts up off the floor. Pull the tailbone or lengthen the tailbone towards the bolster and come back down wherever you can go, and see maybe that released your back. Sometimes you have to tilt the other way. So if that didn't release for you, then, anchor in, see if you can drop the tail down first. So it is cat-cow, a little bit. So see what works. Good. Okay, I'm just going to place my eye pillow. Okay, so I hope you're comfortable, that your back is settling on the floor. And we're just going to move into the physical body. And start to pay attention to the body and places where you hold tension. And that might be very prevalent here in the shoulders or the back of the heart. And even in the head. It's more the neck muscles, but just see if you can, is there space to drop in more deeply through the neck, the head, the back of your shoulders, and the back of your heart. Stay with that for a few rounds of breath. Just noticing the tension you naturally hold here, and what you can start to connect with and let go of. Doesn't need to be anything specific other than, here's where I hold my stress. Here is where I am holding tension. And just working your way down. So feeling the mid back resting on the floor, maybe even going in towards the lower back, the sides of your waist, and the fronts of your rib cage. Just focus on the whole midsection, maybe even moving towards the lower. And just asking yourself, what can I let go of here? Moving into, the lowest part of you, your pelvic bowl, your hips, and the front of your hip creases, like right into the connection of the thigh bone to the hip socket. How can you create more space and release throughout the front and the back, the sides of your lower pelvic bowl? And just taking your awareness back up. Just scanning as you move your way back down. Just take your time, but notice any tension that is gathered in any of the places that we've already released into. And have some more space opened up behind the shoulders, the back of the heart, the jaw, the neck. And scanning your way all the way down, nice and slow, noticing and feeling into until you get to the front of your hip crease. And feeling into your thigh bones. And how they're just, there's nothing behind them. And they can just drop and release. And maybe you feel that release as thigh bone moving to back of thigh. You might feel that release as thigh bone dropping more into hip socket, just kind of depending on how you've placed your legs. And just feeling into the heaviness of your legs. You have them wrapped. You might even feel them moving together. And just feeling the support underneath your calves. And how your feet are maybe dangling. And then bringing your awareness back up. And once again, just noticing if there's space to release the back of the head, the jaw, the sides of your neck, the backs of your shoulders, your shoulder blades, the back of your heart. And then feeling into the arms, however you have them placed. Like the wings of your heart, feel that they can also just drop and be supported. So we're going to stay here for a little bit longer. as you rest, noticing any, places you can drop. And now just also being in contact with the flow of your breath. Just feeling the inhale, the exhale. And as you rest, the breath will become very shallow. So I don't want you to try and control the breath or lengthen it, deepen it, any of that. Just really observe your breath. And at some point, you'll just not be observing the breath, and that's fine too. It's resting into the supports you've offered yourself, into this place to release and to rest. If you wish to remove the support under your head, you could do that and just come back into the rest, or we'll make the support a little smaller if you like. If you've released your head, then just noticing what you are feeling, the sensations from that. Okay. And then just starting to maybe now deepen the breath, lengthen the breath, and connect that releasing of the body with your exhalations. Okay, and then just starting maybe by moving your feet in some way, your toes. Even start to move your fingers. Okay, and then from here, you can either unwrap your legs or see if you can bring them in towards your chest just to hug them in. So if you need to unwrap, that's fine, but they might stay wrapped, and just hug them in and out a few times. Again. And then we'll just set the feet maybe on the bolster, on the floor. It doesn't matter. Mine landed on my bolster. It feels quite nice. Good. So now just knees bent, feet bolster, feet on bolster, feet on floor, whatever works for you. Just maybe take your hands to rest on your body. Just taking a few moments here. So we'll just roll ourselves to one side. And I still have my legs wrapped, it's all fine. Just bring yourself up to seated as you're ready. Okay, I'll unwrap my legs here. Felt really nice though. Okay, so I'm going to take the bolster now, move the blocks out of the way. And I'm just going to put this bolster, what's this now? This is lengthwise. And I'm just going to rest the sacrum on here like we do, when we put the block, but this time we'll use the just the bolster. So I'm going to keep this blanket that I had my legs wrapped up with. I'm going to keep it handy. I'm just putting it over the end of the bolster there so I know where it is. And then I'll just put the hips on the end of the bolster and you'll lie down. Oh, you might want a blanket. That's what I forgot. You might want to put a blanket down just to kind of, support your head and your torso. Okay, now I'll lie down so that just the sacrum is on the bolster and the back of the heart, maybe even the whole back of your ribs is going to be on the floor. And you have maybe another blanket there for your head. If you need more, you can always roll it in or out. Good. Okay. So notice how that feels. Adjust for yourself what you need. Okay. So we're going to start with the knees bent, feet on the floor. And now you can grab that blanket if it's not too far and throw it over your legs if you like. It's just a matter of making yourself very comfortable. So the knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Now I'm going to take the arms up. So they can go, maybe they're going to go right over your head, or you'll just bend, or you'll take them out. You find a place where you're comfortable and the shoulders are okay. And we're just going to use these arms to just invite more breath in. So if you can take the arms over your head and that's comfortable for you, they don't have to be stretched straight, they can be bent a little bit, but the backs of the hands have to be resting. So you can even throw a blanket under there if they're lifted, but you want to have your arms above your head. So take the time, make it nice. Good. Okay, and then we'll just turn the heels out, bring the knees in towards each other if that's comfortable for your inner hip crease. And if it's not, just, go back to the knees apart. And once again, we're just going to drop in. You're going to use all your powers of observation to notice how things feel here. And if you feel some lengthening through the low back, mid back area, and it's causing a little bit of discomfort, but you are okay to just rest in and breathe, then that's a great place to start. Just feel into that, and what can I drop away so I can help my body settle. And then from that place, from the back, you'll just slowly bring your powers of observation up. You just drop in, connect to the props. And bringing the breath in at any point that you're ready to connect all of that releasing, letting go with the flow of your breath. Okay, so we're going to stay in this shape. I'm just going to add a little change to the legs. And, this might not be good for everyone. So if it doesn't feel good for you, you just go back to what does. But if your knees are touching, I'm just going to separate them. And I'm going to just take my blanket off just so you can see if you need to, but you can probably find your way. So I'm going to drop the knees out to their sides. So the right knee is dropping out to the right, left knee to the left, like Baddha Konasana. And the soles of the feet are going to be just into the sides of the bolster. So the feet are almost going to hold the hips. I'm just going to engage the feet a little bit into the bolster without hardening the fronts of the groins. Keep everything soft and let the knees just be open. And if that's okay, then this is where we're going to rest for a little bit. So the feet are engaged a little bit just to help support. And again, melting maybe through the front of the low belly to the back of the low back, and the front of the mid belly, dropping to the mid back, which might just be hovering in the air. So inviting everything to open and drop. Okay, so I'm going to stay in this modified Baddha Konasana for a few more breaths. Just dropping in, releasing the whole pelvic bowl, fronts of the pubic bone. Everything you can open and soften and release here. And bringing your knees back up, feet on the floor, and feel free to drop the knees together if you wish. You can even do a little bit of rocking the knees side to side, or just finding a little bit of movement there just to release the back. Good. Okay, now we're just going to stay here for a few more moments, and you can stay as you are with the legs. If you need to bring your arms down, give yourself a rest. You can a rest in your rest. You can do that. From here, I'm just going to take the legs into cross-legged, but I'm going to rest them on the bolster. So I'm in cross-legged. My feet, are kind of on the outside of the bolster. Just like right foot is moved over to the left side of the bolster, left foot is over to the right side. And if that's okay, then we're just going to stay there. And if it's no good, then go back to feet on the floor. And just dropping into your breath. So I'll take 5 more breaths, and then I'm going to change the cross of the legs. Just inviting everything to be soft and to drop as best as you can. So I'm changing the cross of my legs here. And again, just try and drop into your comfort. Melt yourself. If your back was feeling a little twingy when we first got on here, just notice if it still feels that way. Hopefully not. Okay, and then just release the legs. And this time I'm just going to rest my feet on the end of the bolster for a few moments. And you're welcome to also put your feet on the floor. If that doesn't quite work, it's fine. Okay. All right, so from here now I'm going to bring the knees in towards the chest, and I'm just going to keep my arms over the head, but if you need to hold your knees, if that's going to be better, then do that. Or just rest, or you can have your blanket. If it's still there, you can hold the blanket. And we're going to be here for a few more breaths. You might even turn your knees side to side a little bit, just floss your back. And if you are happy with the legs like this, great. You want to stretch your legs up into the air, and they can just fall where they, if that feels good for you, then do that. So either one. So feet on the floor, or knees into your chest, or feet on the bolster, or legs up in the air. And if your legs are up in the air, then just feel that the heels are kind of above the sit bones, even if the knees are bent. And then you can just let the back be heavy into that bolster support. If you have your knees into your chest, it changes the angle, so it's all fine. Good. Just take 3 more breaths, however you are here. And if your legs are in the air, bend the knees, and then we'll set the feet on the floor. And from here, you'll just lift your hips and take your hands. Hopefully you can just push the bolster away from you so you can come down. And you might stretch your legs out. You might rest them. I'm just going to use my feet, turn the bolster, and extend the legs for a few moments, or cross-legged, whatever you like to do, legs bent, just to feel yourself grounded here. So your arms can come down and rest on your body or out to the side. However you are here is great, just receiving your own grounding energy. Melting through the back of the head, the back of the heart. And then as you're ready, again, we'll just roll to one side and take a moment or two there. And then you press yourself up. And it's always nice to just sit for a moment too and just kind of feel. So let's just take a moment to just be quiet. You can even bow your chin and rest your hands wherever feels good, on the lap, on the knees, on your heart, on your belly. And just feel in. Again. Okay. And then gently, open your eyes. And good. Okay, so our next pose is going to be a Shavasana 2. And so that's where we're going to now do kind of the opposite of what we did. So I'm just going to show it super quick just so we are all on the same page. This is where I have my shoulders, back of the ribs, and my head will be on the bolster. So this is, you can have the bolster flat, but you might like to put your blocks underneath it. If you like a little bit of a lift, then you would take your blocks, and I'll take the 2 blocks. I'll just bring it up here. So I'll put one down low, and they can be any height. You'll kind of see what you like. So if I put them like this and they're a little bit far apart, and even my bolster, I don't know if you can see, but it's not quite on the floor. But if I have it like this and I come onto it, then I have my heart supported and my head supported. And so I'll just model that here. I'll just move this blanket out too that I have my head on. Okay, so however you like, blocks, no blocks is fine. I'm just gonna do it with the blocks here. Yeah. Okay, now you might, Heart already has his blanket in for your, you might take a blanket and make a little head support. And so it could even just be like this, and then you can fold it a little bit more if you need it. Okay. Now I have one more blanket here, and I'm going to take Baddha Konasana. So you might want two blankets to put underneath your, we bring the soles of the feet together, support your knees. Now I just have one blanket here, and I should be okay with that. I'm just going to fold it, fold it, fold it, and then I'll wrap it over my feet and underneath. I'll just kind of snuggle it in. But that, I know I can open myself open my hips. So if that, you do what you have to do. And then we'll lie back, and hopefully the blocks are, oh yeah, going to hit perfect. Okay, so then you have that blanket if you need to fold it more under your head or whatever you need. If you have your eye pillow. Okay, so I don't want you to feel any strain in the front of your hip crease with Baddha Konasana. And so if you do feel that, you're welcome to stretch your legs out and just kind of open them wide, or throw more support underneath. And here I would put the hands out, and I'm okay here, but if it's too much for your shoulders to have the arms dropping like this, then just pop up, get some more blankets or pillows to support the forearms, or lower your blocks. So do whatever you need to do so that you feel very supported, and you're not putting in any effort other than the effort to let go. Okay. So if you notice your forehead or your chin is popping up, I feel mine is, so I'm just going to make this a little bit higher underneath my head. The yogi's choice. So I just took that big blanket and just folded it in half. Feels much better. Okay, I'm just dropping in, so I'm not going to talk so much. And I'm just going to give you space to just feel yourself very held and supported, and to meet your props with your body, with your breath, and with a quiet, open mind. Staying as you are. If you're very comfortable, then you're welcome to stay in this shape for the next 5 or so minutes we have. If you'd like to come off of this prop setup and create a new comfortable place for Shavasana for yourself, then go ahead and make those movements. Just be mindful you're on a height as you come off. So either staying or readjusting your shape as you need. And just dropping back into your rest. And savoring this time of quiet, of introspection, of patience, and compassionate kindness, loving kindness for yourself. If your legs are still in Baddha Konasana, then you might want to stretch them out now. Just resting as you are for a few more moments. Starting to invite in gentle movements through your feet, just turning your toes in towards each other and out a few times. Just rotating your entire leg and your hip crease. And when you're ready, my friends, you'll bend your knees. You might want to rest like that for a few moments or roll off your props onto the side. Take a few moments there in the fetal position. However you get here, take your time. Just honoring your rest. And whenever you feel ready from here, walk yourself up and just come into your seat in a comfortable way. And just taking a few moments in the seated position, just honoring. You can put your hands however you feel called. You might be together or separate, facing up or facing down. And bowing your chin slightly, releasing your jaw. And even taking your heart space back a little bit, as if you're just leaning into a very comfortable chair. And smiling. As if you've just been on like the best date ever with yourself. And as you inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, stay as you are. You can bring your hands up to rest in front of your heart. Bowing your chin to all that you are and all that you offer yourself. Blessing yourself deeply. And we'll seal this practice with very quiet Om. Inhale. Shanti, Om peace, namaste. Take a full breath. Breathe into your hands. Lift your chin, open your eyes, and this time just offer that for yourself. Just offer it for you. There you go. And with great love. Thank you, guys.
Have a good sleep. Beautiful night. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, guys.